this session or this webinar pretty much is to go over the Microsoft Dynamics 365 strategy. We're going to be focused in a solution that is called Dynamics 365 Business Central. This is a complete ERP, pretty new in the cloud, and I'm going to explain that in a little bit. Because of course it comes from an ERP that has been on the market for a long time. It's a complete solution, and with that, I'm gonna start presenting who we are, what we do, so you guys understand where we're coming from. LLB Solution is a company, is a Microsoft partner, and also a CSP provider, tier one in the United States. Um, we have, of course, technical um, personnel around the world, not just in the US, but in Latin America, and some other people in Europe supporting our operation. Um, we also are a Microsoft vendor. That means we work tied with Microsoft in several initiatives that they have, like readiness, like projects in the Dynamics world. Um, we are located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Again, with resources around the world because of different projects that we manage. And we pretty much focus only in business solutions, in everything that is Dynamics. Okay. I'm gonna talk about the strategy. What Microsoft did pretty much was they took their CRM on premise and two of the ERPs, and the ERPs on premise, and they combined those on the cloud, and they create a solution. It's called Dynamics 365. Dynamics 365 is pretty much the integration in the cloud of the ERP and the CRM in one platform, not just the CRM and ERP, but also with all the cloud solutions that Microsoft offer, like Office 365, Power BI, Power Apps, etc. On the right hand side, you can see everything that is related to the CRM, like marketing, sales, field services, and customer services. And again, this is one of the solutions that you can get this as a independent module, like sales or marketing or field services. And on the left hand side, you can see the ERPs, which there are two: Business Central, the one that we're going to be focused today, and we're going to go over the solution, and Finance and Operation. They're both complete ERPs. The main difference between these two solutions are, of course, the price and the type of market that they focus. So Business Central is go for those companies between 5 to 250 users of the ERP. And Finance and Operation is for companies, oh, this is what Microsoft recommends, companies with more than 250 users of the ERP. Even though that's the recommendation for Microsoft, I see Business Central implemented in huge companies like Michelin. They have implemented Business Center in over 80 countries around the world with over 500 users. So I'm highlighting that because I want to make sure you understand it could work for small companies, medium companies, and even large companies. Okay, and there are some other satellite products that I call like human resources that you can integrate with Business Central, or retail, or project operation. So this is pretty much the strategy that Microsoft offer around Dynamics 365. And again, you can extend the functionality of Business Central Dynamics, not just between them, the ERP and CRM, but some other solutions like Office 365, Power BI, etc. And you will see how Power BI is embedded in Business Central, and you can see some of the functionality today as Madeline, who is here with us, gonna do a short demo of the Business Central. Okay, so let's enter into the capabilities. Like I mentioned before, Business Central is a complete ERP. Of course, we have all the financial management, which have the account receivable payments, payables, bank reconciliation, fixed assets. Of course, you can do the month and year close of the business. You have a model that is called sales and services management, where you can create the quotes. Of course, you have a small contact management. It's not a CRM, but if you're just gonna use Business Central, you have, of course, you can manage your all your contacts, providers, or customers. Of course, everything that is invoicing or sell invoicing, payment processing. You have a project management model in which you can have the capacity planning, budget and estimates, track the job costing. This is super important if you manage projects among your company, and resource management. You have a supply chain management, and to me, this is like a special module because you have warehouse management, advanced with warehouse management, in which this is for companies a little bit more complex, where they want to have a little bit more control of the inventory, etc. And also you have, of course, a control of the purchasing control and inventory, shipment and distribution, returns and cancellations, and a procurement model. Okay. In the operational management, of course, you can do the forecasting, production planning. You have a manufacturing module. If one of your companies do manufacturing, we can do manufacturing with Business Central. And like I mentioned before, a warehouse management. Okay. And in reporting, you can extend any report you want. Like I mentioned before, you have built in the Power BI, some intelligence. You will see that you can create profiles, and depending on what is the profile, the solution will show you one thing or the other. So it's pretty friendly solution, and super scalable if you wanna increase in your business or have a solution that you can scale in the future. In terms of licensing, I think it's really important. There are three types of license. A super affordable solution. I'm gonna start in the premium license. This is the one that have everything: manufacturing and services management. That's like the highlight, because the next one, which is the essential, is the complete solution without manufacturing and service management. Uh, like you can see here, the price of the premium is $100 user per month. A super affordable solution, because first of all, it's a complete ERP. Second of all, you don't need to worry about the infrastructure. Now, that problem is a Microsoft issue, not just infrastructure, but security. So when you get a solution like this, you don't need to worry about that. Before, when you have an on-premise solution, you're probably going to have to maintain the servers, make sure the security is in place, all the antivirus, everything that you need, so you don't get hacked or you don't get issues with your solution. So this is one of the advantages to be on the cloud. In Essentials, of course, you got all the modules, all the financials, sales and manage opportunities, supply chain inventory, and project management. And also you have the warehouse management, the advanced warehouse management in this type of license. Super affordable, again, $70 user per month. And then you have a team member license. This is more for those users that only gonna run reports and approve some expenses or anything in the organization, and it's a $8 user per month. So again, if you compare with other ERP solutions, not just the price but the functionality is a great deal. Uh, this is the the implementation methodology that we use. Of course, this is a Microsoft implementation methodology. We follow this methodology, by the book. Pretty much start with a diagnostic of the company. We need to understand the business procedures, the infrastructure, everything that you have in place. Then you enter into the analysis phase where we go more in detail to find out the requirements, do a fill and gap analysis. Then we start on the design. We create, a specific solution for your company where we enter and with everything that we did on the analysis, we start creating or designing the solution. And then when the customer approved the design, we enter into the development phase where we start, doing the standard configuration, some development if we need to, and then the deployment phase where, of course, we start using real data. Uh, we give access to the users, we train them, make sure all everything that they do daily is working fine. And then, of course, the go live or the operation, where pretty much we spend after we go live between 3 to 4 months, working with the customer, making sure everything that we have implemented is working fine and you don't have any issue. So this is the methodology that we follow. It's a Microsoft recommended methodology, and we've been doing this type of implementation for many many years, and trust me, it works pretty well. Also, we not we just don't only do implementation, but we offer a training in all the solutions that we just showed before, not just Business Central, but finance and operation, and all the different modules of the CRM. Okay. Here, in case your company have operation outside of the US, especially in Latin America, we have developed the localization. We call it localizations to these country fiscal requirements. So because we got some customers that operate in the U.S. but also have subsidiaries in Mexico and Colombia, so some other places, and they extending the usability of the Business Central in other countries. We can do that not just because we can offer Business Central, but also because we have this development that you can put on top of the Business Central and meet all the requirements, the government requirements, the fiscal requirements for each of those countries. Um, Also, we have a vertical that is for the gas stations industry. It is pretty much Business Central in the back, connected with a point of sale, a POS, and of course managing everything on the level of the gas, the tanks, everything that is related to the sale of the gasoline or the diesel. Okay, so it's a great solution if you are in that market. Let us know. It's a solution that we've been implementing for quite some time, and we have some success stories around Dingas. Okay. I open for questions because after the questions, or we can leave the question at the end. But if you have some question about the strategy, about Business Central, let me know. We can answer now, or if you guys want, we can wait until the end and talk about the strategy, the product, and what we can do or not with the solution. Okay. Any question for now?
Yes, good morning, David. Good morning, everybody. Uh,
Good morning.
This is David Fernandez here. I have a question regarding the market that we are open, assuming that uh, we could work on other countries, or we are open to other countries.
Yeah.
What about the the processes and procedures and the solutions for Dominican Republic and for U.S. Are we open to work in Florida, for instance?
Oh yeah. Let me explain you. Basically, this type of solution they are created for the U.S. market. Okay. So here we
Great.
don't have any issue. We have plenty of customers here that are using Business Central. So when we install Business Central in the US, pretty much this solution they are created for the US market. So here we don't have any issue. For Dominican Republic, we're working on the localization for Dominican Republic. We don't have it yet, but since we have so much experience in Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Chile, etc., creating this localization, I'm pretty sure if we have a implementation in Dominican Republic, we can have the localization in less than a month or 2 months at the most. Okay, just to be clear, an implementation on an ERP it won't last less than 3 months. So it's a huge investment in time and money because it's not just the financial part that you're going to implement is like an operational system that covers the entire organization. So it takes approximately between 3 to 4 months, depending on of the customer. But for the localization, we can have it, as we're working on the implementation. So, any other
Great.
question?
Thanks.
Not a
Thank you,
problem.
David.
Sure. Any other question?
Yes, if I may ask, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, this is Ahmad Al Wadiya from UAE.
How you doing?
Are you as well doing the service in UAE market?
If I doing that service where? I'm sorry.
Do you provide it in UAE as well?
I'm sorry. I can't understand your question.
In Europe.
Oh, in
In,
Europe.
Yes.
no, not in Europe. In United Arab Emirates, in Dubai, in the GCC region.
We have no, we haven't done anything in the Middle East, to be honest, at this point. Is I guess it's just to find out what is the fiscal requirement there for the system. But I don't see why we cannot do that. But I guess we could. Because we
Um,
had work in Europe implementing Business Central in, like I said, in the United States where we are, and in Latin America. So it's just matter to understand what is the fiscal requirements there, and if we understand that, I guess we can do an implementation.
and you mentioned that it's suitable for manufacturing industries and for warehousing. What about oil and gas? Is it
Uh, what?
feasible for oil and gas industry?
Okay, but oil and gas referring to the production of oil and gas or the gas station or the
No,
distribution?
the production.
I guess yes, because you would treat that as a regular manufacturing process. Of course, it will work.
I see. Okay. Okay. Thank you for
Thank
answering
you.
my questions.
All right. So, any other question before we start showing the demo of the product? Okay. If there is no more question, I'm gonna pass to Madeline Rubio. Uh, she's one of our senior consulting. She have a lot of experience in Business Central. She's been working, I don't know, 3 or 4 years with Business Central. Before that, with Navision, which is the solution where it was the on-premise solution, and then moved that Navision to the cloud. So she have a lot of experience. She's gonna show you a brief demo of the product and then open to questions. Okay. So Madeline.
Thank you, David. Hello, everybody. This is Madeline Rubio. I'm Microsoft Dynamics consultant, and I'm here to give you an overview of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Business Central is the upgraded version of Dynamics AMB. It's a true cloud application deployed and managed by Microsoft. Business Central has full integration with Microsoft apps as email, Excel, Power BI to make your daily business activity simple and effective as possible. Business Central handles two types of licenses, the Essential and the Premium, as that bit say. The first one basically allows you to get access into the finance core capability, project planning, warehouse, purchasing, sales and marketing, human resource, and the second ones allows you to get deeper into manufacturing and field services. Now you are seeing the main page of Business Central. This page can be slightly different depending of the role that you choose. If I look into my settings, you are going to see that I'm using the business manager role. And if I click on the three dots, you are going to see the available roles that Business Central has. These roles are default based on different areas inside a company. For example, we have role for sales order processor, for manufacturing manager, for project manager, inventory manager, and also you can create a new role and choose what options do you want to see in your main page. Now we are going to start checking the features inside the finance module. The finance module is the core of Business Central because here you can find the chart of accounts. You need to keep in mind that Business Central is an operational ERP and the accounting is the consequence of all transactions that are entered through modules. As module, I say documents, invoices, payments, adjustment, etc. So let's check the chart of account. Here you can see the account master. Here you can create or edit an account, and also you can check the balance for each account. As you can see in this window, we have a lot of columns, but the most important are net change and balance. If I apply a filter by date, for example, let me add the 2020 period. You can see that the amount in the net change column is different than the amount in the balance column. This is because this net change column shows you the transactions in a period of time, and the balance column can show you the balance up to date. So this type of filter are available in all the systems, so you easily can convert a view in a report. If I click on the amount, your Business Central will give you the entries that are part of that amount. In this new window, you can create new filters and also you can download the data in Excel. If I click on page and press open in Excel, I'm going to download the data in Excel in a table format. Okay. Business Central also works with dimensions. Dimensions are values that categorize entries and you can track and analyze them on document. When we set dimensions in Business Central, these dimensions, it's going to appear in Business Central as columns. For example, if we select an account, this income product sales account, I click inside the ledger entries, inside the account, are going to see the department and the customer group code. Those are dimensions that are available in Business Central as a column. And this information, you can set this information as a mandatory field inside the GL account card, the customer card, the item card, or the vendor card. For example, in this GL account card, I can go to dimensions, and you can see that here we have this department dimension with the value of sales as a mandatory code for any transaction. Also, inside the finance module, you can work with budget, fixed asset, and general journals. One of the best features of Business Central is that you can upload data from Excel. For example, if I want to create a GL entry, I can click on General Journal and click on the name of the journal. In this new window, I can add information about the entry that I'm going to create and use it as a template. For example, let me populate this field. Let me add an account. Also, I need to add my amount, the amount of the entry. Let me. And I need to select the offset account that it's going to use Business Central. So in this case, saving account. With this information, I can download the data in Excel and add more lines to upload to Business Central. Let me press on page, and after that, press on edit in Excel. This routine is going to download this template. This template has a direct connection con Business Central through an extension that Microsoft has. In this extension, I only need to add or type the user and the password that I use in Business Central. And as you can see, I'm going to get the data from Business Central. It's the same data that I put in the journal in Business Central. So here, I can add more lines. Let me copy this line for like dummy data. And in this case, I only need to identify any line as a unique value. So let me identify. Okay. After identify each line, I can change, for example, the document number. And you can change all the information that you want in Business Central. After completing all the data, you can press on publish button, and this routine it's going to upload this data in Business Central. Now we are going to switch to Business Central, and here in this journal I can press F5 key, and here is the data that I have in Business Central in my Excel. So this is a feature that you can use in any transaction, in any document in Business Central. So basically, you only need, in this case, pause the transaction, and you are going to see the GL entries for this transaction. Let me pause in this case. I always going to have this message if I want to post the journal line. And after that, I can check into my chart of account and see the data that I posted before. Now this is the account that I use. And here we have all the data that I upload through Excel. So this is one of the best features in Business Central. And as I said, you can use this feature in any document in Business Central. Now we are going to see the features inside the purchasing model. In this purchasing model, you can create purchase order, purchase invoice, purchase credit memo, and for create this document, you need to have a valid vendor. So let's go to the vendor master. This is the vendor master. You can here you can create a new vendor or edit an existing one. This vendor needs to have a number, a unique number to identify it in the data. Inside this vendor, you can add information as name. You can add this address and contact information, all the data that you want. You can handle these contacts inside the vendor, so you can have a lot of people associated to one vendor. Also, inside this vendor card, you need to set up the tax area code that it's going to help Business Central to calculate taxes, and you need to set up this posting detail. These posting details are related to the account that Business Central is going to use when I use this vendor in a transaction. Remember that I said that Business Central is an operational ERP. So this is the connection of one transaction in the module with the finance module through this posting group. So if we check this posting group, you can see that we set a lot of account for any scenario inside Business Central. For example, if I'm going to post a purchase account, these are the account that the Business Central is going to use when I posted the transaction. For example, to increase my inventory, it's going to use this account. To register a discount in the purchase, it's going to use this account. And this is the same methodology for each account in Business Central. Okay, inside the vendor card, you can have or you can keep all the data that you want. You can keep data about payment terms, payment method, bank accounts, etc. Also, Business Central, it's going to show you vendor statistic, and it's going to show you information about how many money you owe to this to this vendor in this case. Also, you have a resume of vendor history that is going to show you how many invoices you register on behalf of this vendor. Business Central have capability also to add uh, any report or any data to the cloud to keep the information safe in Business Central. For example, here you have the attachment options, and you can add any information in this vendor card. Now, after have after completing the creation of the vendor, we are going to use it in a transaction. So let's go to create a purchase order. This is the purchase order. In this window, you are going to see the open purchase order. These are open because maybe are some people is still working on the order, and you can see also the released order that this order we are waiting for the inventory in this type of order. So if I want to create a new document in Business Central, this is the document format that you are going to see. A good thing of Business Central is that all the document has the same structure and ask for the same field. So the create a document in Business Central is really intuitive. So the first step that I need to follow to create a document is select a vendor. After selecting the vendor, you are going to see that most of the fields are auto-completed with the vendor information. And we have this target for fields that are required for the system. So this means that I cannot close the transaction without this information. Okay, let's go to the next section inside the purchase order. In the next section, in the line sections, I'm going to select the items that I'm going to buy for this order. I can select one item in this way, or you can select multiple items. For example, here you can select more than one and add it to the transaction. Also, when you add an item, let me remove this one to keep simple the order. Okay. After add the item, you need to select the location where you expect to receive the data. In this case, I'm going to select main warehouse, and also you need to select the quantity of the quantity to buy, basically. Let me select this quantity, and one here you have two types of information in this field. Business Central can save the last direct cost that you bought your product. And also, you can change this direct cost, or you can add a new direct cost in this case. So let me remove this line because this is a kit. This is not a product for buy. This is an assembly item. So let me change it. Now, location again, units, quantity, and as you can see, Business Central saved the last direct cost of the item. I can change it here, and now you can see that this is the subtotal of the transaction, and here I don't have any taxes yet. But if I add the tax area code, in this case, let me check. This vendor is located in Chicago. So if I added that tax area code, Business Central, it's calculating the taxes really quickly. Also, in this document, you can add dimensions manually. Remember that I say that dimensions appears in Business Central as columns. So these are the column of the dimensions. And here you can see all the values for each dimension. Now, After completing this information, I can print the purchase order. So let's go to print and print. This report, this is the report that we have in this Business Central based, but this report is 100% customizable. So you can change it in based on your requirements. In this report, you have information of the customer, of the vendor, and information of the company that is buying the item. So here, this report, you can print it, or you can download it in PDF. PDF. Okay. After printing the purchase order, you only need to receive the items in your warehouse. So Business Central allows you make partial or total receive. That means that I can receive this unit into receptions in two different times. For example, let me change in here in Business Central, we have this quantity to receive. So if I change the number or the quantity to receive, Business Central is going to create a receipt associated to the purchase order, and it's going to increase my inventory for those units. So to receive these units, we need to click on posting, and we need to click on post. We are going to choose this receive routine. When I click on this routine, Business Central is receiving the data and is also updating the information that that I need to receive. In this case, is saying, okay, you received 3 units and you need to receive 2 more. If I want to check the purchase receipt associated to this purchase order, I can check this information in this tab in Navigate. And also Business Central has a section to check this document. Here you can see the document and you can see the detail of the reception. Also, you can print the document, and inside this receipt, you are going to see how many units you are expecting to receive in other time. Here, you receive 3 units, you order 5, but you are expecting 2 units. So that was a partial receipt, and also we can create a total receipt, keeping the total units in this field and creating the resection. The last step that I need to follow to close this purchase order is convert this order in a purchase invoice. So for that purpose, I'm going to indicate the vendor invoice number here. And after that, I'm going to click on posting, post, and I'm going to choose the receive an invoice. This routine is going to receive the 2 units, the 2 pending units, and it's going to make an invoice for the total of the units that I bought. So if I click on OK, you are going to see that the system posted a purchase invoice. Let me show you. Okay, and we have here a posted invoice. This posted invoice has all the information of the item received, all the information of taxes, and all the data that we handle in the purchase order. Also, we can keep the track of the order of the purchase order that we receive from the vendor. Also, remember the Business Central is an operational system, so this transaction it's going to generate some GL entries, and you can check that GL entries here in these options. So if I click on GL entry, you are going to see how many accounts was used by the system to close this transaction. So as always in Business Central, you can open this information in Excel. You can save all the data in Excel. Okay. Inside the purchasing mode, also we have purchase invoice. You can create a purchase invoice without a purchase order, and it's pretty the same process. You need to select a vendor. This vendor is going to display all the data inside Business Central. Also, you need to select the item in this case, and after completing this data, you can pause the transaction. And this it's ready. This is here you have a posted purchase invoice without a purchase order. So you can handle two type of processes to increase your inventory or your account payables. Also inside this module, we have the options to create credit memos, and this is one of the most quickly routines most quickly routine that Business Central has. In this case, I can create a quick credit memo, clicking on the invoice that I'm going to reverse, and after click on three dots, I'm going to choose this create credit memo. So with this option, the system is going to create a credit memo. Also, you can see that is pretty the same document that we saw in the previous steps. And here, the only things that I need to fill is the credit memo number. Okay, and if we check the information inside the credit memo, we are going to see that Business Central is tracking the invoice number, the reception that I use to increase my inventory to receive this item, and the unit cost and the taxes. So in with this, you can be sure that you are to buying all the invoice. So let's pause the transaction, posting, pause. And in, in, in this is the posted transaction, and you can see that we create three type of documents really quickly in Business Central. Also, we have this posted purchase invoice. This is a window where you can see all the registered transactions in this module, and you have this tag that it's going to show you if the transaction is open or is closed. If the transaction is open, you are going to see the remaining amount, the amount of the invoice that is the same that the amount including tax is pretty the same value. And if the invoice is closed, you can click on the amount, and you are going to see the document that was applied to the initial invoice. In this case, this invoice was closed with a payment that in and you can check or you can see more information about the payment if you click on entry and find entries. So here we are checking the entries that transaction generate, and you can check the bank information, the payment number, and all the data that you need to check inside the, the transaction. Okay, this is basically the purchasing model. The sales model is pretty the same, but here we have the item master. Here in Business Central, you have the item master. In this item master, you can see that Business Central handle three types of items. The first one is the inventory type, that this item, this inventory type basically needs to keep control of quantity and locations. The item services is used to register expenses, and the no inventory item is used internally. Normally, this type of item has low cost and is used to control supplies consumed by the company. Is basically that. Inside the item category, you can set up a lot of data. For example, you can set up an item category, and inside that item category, you can set up attributes based on any type of operation that you have in your your company. Here inside the item card, you also you also have the same the connection between the module and the finance module, that is the posting detail, and you have Business Central have a really complete routine to handle the replenishment and the reorder policy in Business Central. With this with this routine, you can set if your item is budget or assembly. Also, you can you can create reorder point parameters and keep your safety stock quantity with all these parameters. So the item card is really complete. You also can handle different prices sheet inside Business Central associated to one item. For example, here you can add to this item sell prices, purchasing prices, and any type of discount to apply to this item. Also, you can associate barcodes, variants, and crossing reference between items and vendor items or customer item. Any type of cross reference you can add it. Here in Business Central, we also have this one routine that can help you to upload the picture of the item, and based on the picture with Cortana Intelligence, you can add the information of attributes for each item. So The item card is really complete, and after create this item, you can use it in the purchase module or in a sales document. Inside the sales module, also we have the customer master. The customer master is pretty the same to the vendor. So here, in addition to all the data that you can save in the customer card, the system it's going to give you, as in the vendor, a statistic about how many documents you are registered on behalf of the customer. For example, here you can see that I create 33 invoices to this customer. And now I'm still working in 2 sale orders and 1 quote. This sales module, have capabilities to issue reminders, direct debits, and finance charge to any customer. These reminders or direct debits you can associate it with all the invoices that you have in that the customer owes you. Now, well, we have a customer. This customer can be created in Business Central also with a unique number. And after have a valid customer, we can create a sales order or any sales document. Business Central can be integrated with Microsoft CRM, but also without the function of CRM. Business Central allows you keep track of new opportunities. In this case, we can see this opportunity card where you can keep a track of any different opportunity with potential customer. If I show you an opportunity here, you can see that you can create this potential customer and you can add the step of each step inside the negotiation with the client or with the customer. Also, you can create inside this routine interactions, and you can create campaigns for that customer or for any customer. If you have if you want to create quotes to that customer, you can create it and you can associate it to that opportunity in this case. Let me show you this quote that I have associated to this customer. Okay, this is a sales quote. You can see that is again pretty same to the purchase order. Here we have the information of the customer, and I can get the detail of the transaction. Here I can read the customer information, the item that I'm trying to sell, price, quantity, prices, and the payment terms that I'm negotiating in this transaction. So if everything goes well in this negotiation, I can convert this document into a sales order or into a sales invoice. The difference between them is that I need to create a sales order if I don't have the units available to sell. So here here you can check the availability in the document for that item. If I click online, item availability by location, you are going to see that now I have 4 units, and in this main location I have 15 units. So In basic of this information, I can decide if I need to create a sales order to after that create maybe a purchase order or an assembly process, or I can create directly the sales invoice. In this case, if I choose, for example, this west location, the system, no, not here, sorry. Let me convert the quote in a sales order. Let me convert. It's really quickly. You only need to press on sales order and it's going to appear this message. Okay. Well, basically the system is asking to close the opportunity to convert it in a sales order. Okay. Okay. And now we have here the sales order. A good thing of Business Central is that also it's always going to notify you if the availability of any item is lower in any location. In this case, you can see this message. The available inventory for this item is lower than the entire quantity at this location. And if I change the location, this this notification disappear. So after creating the sales quote, after convert the sales quote in a sales order, I can convert to close this transaction the sales order in a sales invoice. So I need to add my invoice number and post the transaction. Okay. And now we're going to close the transaction. So this is the posted transaction. And now I have the sales invoice associated to my customer. Also, in Business Central, you have this cash management module where you can create payments and apply it to vendors or customer. Business Central has two types of journal, one for customer and one for vendors. But both are the same, have the same design basically. To create a payment, I'm going to use this journal. And if I click here on the name of the journal, this new window is going to appear. As you can see, this window is pretty the same that the general journal window. So Business Central, as always, keep the same design in each window. Okay, here to create a payment, I only need to select a vendor or a customer, depending of the payment that I'm going to register in my company. I'm going to register a payment by a vendor. And I need to select the vendor. And after selecting the vendor, I can check what transactions are pending to pay to that vendor. And here I can check the transactions that are pending to pay to that vendor. I can select the transaction here. And after selecting the transaction, it's going to Business Central is going to populate the amount that I'm going to pay, and it's going to apply this payment to that invoice. So basically, I only need to pause the transaction. And now, if I check my vendor, first consultant, you can see that this vendor doesn't have any overdue invoice. Now, Business Central in this bank module also has a routine to create a suggest vendor payments. So you can click on prepare, suggest vendor payments. Business Central, it's going to check all the pending invoices. It's going to add it to this journal for maybe be paid. Here we have all the suggested invoices, and as you can see, you have basically the invoice with the document applied. Also, you can change the amount of each payment and make like an add-on to that payment. So here I can select the type of payment that I'm going to use. Can be bank transfer, wire transfer, check, etc. And I'm going to pause again this payment journal. So this is the process to pay to create payments in general. Also, Business Central has routines that can help you to mark any customer transaction that you are going to receive the payment. So here, let me check. What is? Okay, here in actions, you have this routine, register customer payment, and basically, okay, then let me find one with more transactions. Maybe this one. And here you can check what payment you are receiving and add the reference number. You can copy the same reference. And in this way, you are going to post quickly a payment associated to the customer. And that's it. Now, this customer is clean. I don't owe nothing to that customer. So also Business Central in this module, in cash management module, has bank reconciliations. This bank reconciliation can be created by connecting the bank into Business Central or importing the bank statement directly to Business Central. Basically, when you create a bank reconciliation, the system is going to match the transaction that you have in your ledger entry, in your bank ledger entry, and it's going to check the transactions, for example, this one, that you are uploading or importing in your bank statement. When the line or when the payments are matched, you can pause the transaction, and the restriction of this bank reconciliation is that you cannot refund or void the payment in Business Central, because is if have has a payment or a reconciliation register to that payment. Okay. To we see here some quickly activities and the most common activities that we make in Business Central. Now let me show you the options that the main page is showing. Here we have routine quickly options to create documents in this case. Also, here you have routines to get information about how many documents you need to pay or you are expecting the pay of that document. So if I click on overdue sales invoices, I'm going to receive or are going to see all the data, all the invoices pending of payment. In this window, I can get all the data that I want of the invoice. I can check the customer, the amount of the invoice, the due date, and also I can create quickly quickly payments or reminders to that invoice. If I click on overdue purchase invoice, I'm going to get the same information. And here in the ongoing sales, I can see all the documents that are open now in my company. So I can get the sales quote that are open, that people is working on that document, and it's the same with the sales order and the sales invoice. And I can get the same information that I showing in sales. I can get the same data in purchase, in my purchase model. For example, here you can see the purchase order that are open or released. This at the end of the day, these are open transactions in Business Central. So in Business Central, also we have the integration with Power BI and a report that we can build through the data that we have in Business Central. In this case, show you a cash cycle. This data is built, is taken of the data that we have in Business Central. So you can build any type of report here. In this case, this is a income expenses report. Other type of report, of report is the account receivable report. So and any these report are a good thing, that is that I can get the data that I saw in this report basically. So it's a good integration of Microsoft with Business Central, and this, as I said, you can build this report. You can build these reports, and let me show you Power BI. Okay, I'm changing. Okay, I have a connection with Power BI. This is Power BI. Here you can create reports, build different data, all connected with Business Center. So in this case, I'm showing you the top 5 of items sold. And if I want to create more data, you can access directly to Power BI. And check or create the report that you want to build in that you want to build and connect with Business Central. That is a total plus. Let me show you this report. And here, this is basically the report that I showed you in Business Central. And this is the main view. And also you can check the dashboard for that report. You can build dashboard, the report, or only data with this Power BI. But it's a leading app to build any report in Business Central and other platforms. So basically, this is all the overview of Business Central. We have a lot of functions to show, but those are the basic ones. Let me know if you have any question, other stuff that you want to see.
Okay, we open to questions. Any question about the solution? Anything else that you guys want to see? Hello?
Hi, I just got one question. How many dimensions can we use? Like how many dimensions does the system, the maximum number of dimensions, the system allow you to use in reporting?
You can use any dimension that you want. Business Central only shows as a column 10 dimensions, but also you can create any other dimension. It's not any limit.
I mean, like how many columns? You mentioned 10 columns.
10 columns, yeah.
Okay, and the 10 columns can be shown in reporting when we extract reports or like trial balance or journal dump. It can be shown, correct?
Yes, yes.
Correct.
Also,
Yeah,
also through developer, we can add more dimension as a column.
I see. Okay, thank you.
sure. Any other question? Okay, if there is no more questions, thank you for your time. We will do a follow-up after this presentation to see if we can, customize something directly for your needs or for your company. So thank you, Madeline. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
I hope you all have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day too.
Thank you. Have a good day.